about obviously is, well, last week we talked about amp. How many of you did y'all amp your life up yet this week? Miss Nikki,
This week we did, yes.
you amped it up.
I
How
even,
you
I even,
feeling?
I even started meditating. I even practicing my meditating.
Oh, shucky ducky quack quack. What you
Yeah.
doing? She done put her big girl pants on now. I even did my meditation. What you talking
Yes.
about? Yeah.
Mhm.
So how did it work out for you? How did you feel doing it?
It's something I might have to continue to do.
Hmm.
I mean, for me, I'm not a perfectionist, but I feel like, it's just something that I have to consistently continue to do to really get the full benefits out of it. So,
Can I are you open to just some a little bit of coaching on that?
absolutely.
Just a little dibby. Just a little dibby. I give
Give me what you got. Give me what you got.
a little nugget. Uh, um, uh, it as soon as you say, what you said right before the meditation, that kind of qualifies like why it's challenging you. So instead, just say I am going to, and when you start say I am, see
Mhm.
that's kind of an affirming statement. Like I am meditating, I am going to meditate. It kind of affirms versus where you challenge yourself some with the old way of thinking. But the fact you did it is so special.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
is awesome.
I'm
And
trying to, make it a part of my morning regimen,
yeah,
to meditate before I get my day started.
okay,
Yeah.
so that's cool. That's cool. Did you feel any different, or I know when you're getting used to the routine, the first couple of times, it's
Right.
like I can't believe I'm sitting here quiet.
Well, and that's the whole thing because I'm expecting to. My mind is constantly racing,
Yes.
with a lot of different thoughts. So now, I have to learn how to, calm the other voices down so I can hear from the right voice.
Absolutely. Right.
So,
See,
I mean, my mind working like Sybil, 16 different people up in there, you know.
see,
So
I mean,
it's
but that
constantly going.
that is the challenge out of all of it, though, is the fact that
Mhm.
we our brains. See, gosh, there's so much stuff. I got so much stuff to say, and we got so little time to do it. But our brains and our minds, first of all, we have to learn to separate them. They're two separate
Right.
entities. We always talk about the mind like it's the brain, and we talk about the brain like it's the mind, but they are separate
Mm. Mm.
entities because your mind addresses your spiritual side truthfully.
Mhm.
Your brain is what does all the logical processing that tries to
Mhm.
read and figure out, okay, this is what we need to do to avoid X and blah blah blah. And the
Mhm.
problem is that we try to logically think our way through a lot of situations where we need more,
Mhm.
to hear more from the spiritual side of ourselves.
Right.
And
Right.
so that is the problem. We have the volume, our brains are going 5,000 miles an hour all the
Mhm.
time because it's always looking out for danger. That's what our
Mhm.
brain does. It's like, hey, watch out for this, look out for that.
Mhm.
What if this
Danger,
happens?
danger.
What if that happens?
Mhm.
It's there to protect you. So when we get into that mode, and then especially when we silent and we aren't used to it, our first thing our brain does is fight it. It's like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Kind of like what we talked about last week. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, well, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Why is this not happening? What's really happening? It's asking you
Mhm.
all these questions. Why? What? Why? What? The thing is, when you tap into or when you start to focus on your spiritual center, your heart center, and you just listen and you enjoy the quiet, you enjoy the stillness, everything and all the apprehension and the commotion starts to melt away. It,
Mm.
it melts away like when you're washing your body, kind of like when you lather up. You
Mhm.
lather up, and then it just washes off eventually. And I,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think Larry can even speak to that because he's been doing it for a while now. At first, it's so difficult because it's just awkward.
Mhm.
But after like two or three times, and you really just learn to enjoy that stillness and that quiet,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, it's amazing. It
Mm-hmm.
is amazing because I remember the first time I meditated, and
Mhm.
it was not an easy experience. Because anybody that knows me knows I'm going constantly.
Right, right.
I'm running. Where you going? Oh man, I'm in between appointments. I got about 5 minutes. What you want to talk about? Blah blah blah. And
Mhm,
next thing you know,
mhm,
I'm off the phone. And I'm on to the next thing, and I'm on to the next thing. So to sit still and be quiet, no
mhm,
phone, no nothing for 20 minutes. I got to be alone with me. My
mhm,
thoughts
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
drove me insane. Well, you know you need
Mm-hmm.
to be doing this and you need to be doing that and you need to be
Right.
doing this. Why are you still sitting here? Ain't nothing happening. This is not what you're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing. And it was amazing after 3 days though.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Literally.
Wow. Mhm.
After 3 days of doing it, my brain was kind of like, all right, we supposed to, and then my mind, because now I'm separating them, was like,
Mhm.
no, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And my brain was like,
Mhm.
okay, because there was no danger. It realized that there's no danger to this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then when you open yourself up, you can hear. And
Mhm.
that's when I began getting, those clear messages about what I should be doing, where I need to be going, and things of that nature. And my life changed
Mhm.
so much,
Mhm.
so much with being clear on what I want to do, what I need to be doing, and everything. And my world has never been the same. So that's why I've always recommended that, because
Mhm.
we a lot of us don't get to do that,
Mhm.
especially when you work in your regular corporate jobs. You don't get that PC.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
all right, look like Sean's taking a little longer than I thought to get in. So, I guess we'll get going. We had a general conversation about it. I know Larry amped up his life this week, so I don't even have to ask him. But I'm
You
going
know.
to ask him anyway, because I like when Larry gets hyped. When Larry gets
Nah,
hyped, everything all right.
nah, I'm not messing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, yeah, definitely. I enjoyed it, man. That's why I was working out the way I was working out, man. I just got some things going, man. It's been a positive week. I've been coming home, reading, reading my little prayer book, working out at the library, checking out some information on stuff that King sent me, but it's hampering your life, man. It's like you said, it's second nature now. Now my body won't wake me up without allowing me to meditate. Like it'll
Mhm.
wake me up before my alarm clock now. So
Mhm.
now I gotta reset my alarm clock to the next day for the 24 hour span because I'm up now. It's
Mhm.
talking.
That,
We talking. So
that
yeah.
is awesome. That is awesome, man. I love it. I love it. That's what. But that is the essence of what I'm talking about, because your life feels different.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
I know a guy that Eric Thomas. He's another speaker, and he has this shirt that I think was one of the most awesome shirts I ever saw. He's like, "No alarm clock needed. My passion wakes me up." I
Mhm.
love that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
because I can't tell you the last time I needed an alarm clock.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right.
I can't sleep past 5:30, no matter what day of the week it is.
Mm-hmm.
My body is like, okay, we got to get up. We need to move.
Mhm.
On
Right.
Sundays, I'm up at 5:30, but I force myself to lay back down.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm up for at least a couple of hours because my body is like, it's go time. You
Mhm.
know. So when you start to regulate yourself without needing to be regulated, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes an eye-opening experience,
Right.
and your life becomes exponentially better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mhm. Give me.
with, with that being said, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and talk to about what our topic is tonight. And last week we talked on clarity. We needed to be clear. We're trying to get clear so that we can get clear about what it is we need to do, and that leads to power, because when you're clear, you can make easier and better decisions about what you want to do with your life, and that gets you that
Mhm.
much closer to living the life that you really want to live, the life of your dreams, the
Mm-hmm.
live your dreams 2015 type thing. So so
There it is.
yeah, so that gets you closer there. um
Uh-huh.
Tonight what we're going to talk about though is focus. Focus is a major point to being able to get to the success you want, because focus is where everything starts. Everything in our life really starts with what we're focusing on.
Mhm.
That starts to dictate a chain reaction of things that lead to either lend themselves to either empowering you or disempowering you. And the problem is that a lot of us have focuses that disempower us.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
we're going to talk about being what first thing I want to talk about with the focus thing is have you ever met somebody that every time you meet them they're doing something different?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
have no consistency going in their life. They are not focused on
Mhm.
any one thing. So
Right, right.
therefore, it's hard for them to achieve anything, because
Mhm.
anything looks like a good opportunity because
Right.
one, they aren't clear, and two,
Mhm.
they evidently aren't focused.
I
Mhm.
need to let him out.
Okay.
So
So I need to tell him.
Okay.
uh,
It's gonna be me and you. She gotta let him out. He
okay.
crying.
Oh, ain't no problem. I understand that. Hey, you
Hmm.
gotta let the big boy go do his thing.
There you
So,
go.
nah, but the focus that we have dictates, the way we begin to feel. What you focus on starts to draw you into certain emotions, and
Hmm.
well, actually, focus leads to your perception. It's so
Yeah.
many steps to the entire process. But when you begin to focus on something, that is when you first have to start to try to process what it is that you are actually focused on. Because
Okay.
when we're in an environment, there are so many things, but our brain focuses on and picks up on only a couple of things. So what we want to do is be able to, one, learn to control our focus.
Okay.
The problem is that a lot of us have no control over
That's what they
what
the feedback. I mean,
we
I
are
got it.
focused on at all.
Right.
We are kind of all over the place every day
Huh?
in every place. Oh, there
I'm
go my
sending
other
it.
family. Okay,
Yeah. Sean here.
all right. I see Sean, and
Sean here.
yeah, yeah, Sean. Oh, he on
What's up,
camera too. Look at him. Go ahead, Hollywood.
Yeah, we're
All
trying to
right.
get it going. I had to use my phone today because my computer batteries are gone out, so I'm charging it up. So
Oh, that's all right.
going
Oh, we
phone
got
today.
you though. That's all right. Look at him. Say hello, Hollywood. I can dig it. We got some extra people
Hello.
eavesdropping in on us too, but it's all right. All right. So Sean, you got anything you
Hold
want
up.
to add? Okay. Well, he said hold on for a second, so we'll give him a second. But
Mhm.
back to the context of focus. The things that we focus on most are the things that lead us to what we are getting in our lives most of the time,
Okay.
because we attract what we are thinking a lot of times. Not even really what we're doing, but what we think we are doing. We start to
Mm-hmm.
attract to us. So let me ask you this, Larry. What is, first of all, do you feel you have control over the things that go through your head? Because a lot of people feel powerless with that. I think about, what you mean you can't control what you think about?
Right.
You
I'm
choose which thoughts you want to focus on.
correct.
So
Eh, but just I'm gonna say it was a hit or miss before our conversation 2 weeks ago. But now just based on from us conversating, me conversating with King, because I guess now that I'm thinking like this, and I said the yay, now I'm attracting it. You know what I'm saying? So I got what I'm focused on. So now it's coming. So I'm gonna say I feel more in control now than I did prior. But it was times where I stood my ground. In my head, I'm like, this is what's going on. So that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was attracting. But now it's to the point where it, I feel like I can't lose. So I will, things that just like I said from talking with you all, and just walking that step. I'm gonna be focused enough to where I can control that. So if I don't want a
right,
certain type of person in my life, they're not gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. Eagles don't hang with turkeys.
They don't need to.
they they can't. They're on two different levels.
Correct.
Right.
You
Correct.
know, how you gonna hang with somebody that can't go the places you are trying to go?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
but yeah. So, Miss Nikki, I know you were listening, but we got
I
to bring
was.
you back into the conversation. You know,
Mhm.
how do you feel about the things or your control of your focus?
The control of my focus. That's an ongoing something I'm working on ongoing because I've been so used to believing I didn't have control of it. You know, the things just enter my mind, and I've always been an imaginative person, and always, and have always planted things in my head, not realizing um, a lot of the things I was planning were not always good for me. So now I'm getting to the point where I'm learning to monitor what I'm taking in, taking in, and being able to um, sort of choose the right things to input in to get better results. Instead of let things flow in like a river, just things flow in
Mm-hmm.
and me taking them in and not really monitoring what I'm taking in. So it's for me it's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process that when something comes in to decide whether or not this is something good, or this is something that's productive, or is this something that is just going to take up space and time in my thoughts. So
Right.
I have to be more focused on what I'm bring in.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. See, because the thing with focus is, again, well, not again, but I will just address what you said. Absolutely, it is about what you are taking in, what you
Mm-hmm.
are allowing your brain to take in.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's a simple little exercise that we usually do with focus, and we're going to do this at the seminar on the 14th, on the
Okay.
workshop on the
Mm-hmm.
14th. All right, y'all are sitting there together. Y'all are in the house, right?
It was in
So,
my text, but let's see
okay,
if I could.
I hear you, Sean. You got something to add? I can hear my family.
I'm talking to my wife. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'll
Oh,
mute
okay.
myself.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
cool. That's all right. So, what I was going to say was, brother,
See.
here's the thing. So, if you are focused on something, like right now, I want
His phone
you,
number.
Larry, and you, Nikki, to look around your house real quick
Mm-hmm.
and just find as much blue as you can.
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah, blue. Just look and see as much blue as you can. I'm gonna give you 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. How many blue things did you see?
Three,
I
four.
got 9.
You got nine? I got four.
That went to your
See?
email.
You got nine?
I got 9. My
Now,
shirt, the pillow, the thing over there, the blue over there, the blue in the wine bottle,
Yes, I saw the blue in the
and the
wine bottle,
TV,
and I saw the blue in the pillows, and then
my
the
shirt.
blue in the scraper right there. So
oh,
four.
okay. So now I want you to find as much red as you can. I'll give you 15 seconds. Well, hey, sis.
Red, red.
Hey, sis. How you doing, Lisa Maya?
I'm
I'm
fine, and
fine,
you?
and you?
I am Mac Fantabulous. You know that. All day, every day.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Five, five. Yeah,
That's
okay.
fast, man.
Oh yes, six.
We're just doing a little focus exercise right now. I'm
Mhm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
7, 8.
Hey,
8
okay.
the red candle underneath the
I got that. I
Oh,
got that. Okay, sorry.
okay. So, how much red did you find?
Like six. Was it six?
For you, oh, 8. The juice
I
bottle?
saw the juice bottle.
The wine
I saw the
bottle?
wine. Uh huh. I
What
saw
was
the
it again?
candle. The
That's
towel.
red.
That's not red. Nope.
She said that's not. See, but
It's not. But
See,
State of perception.
see, but here's the lesson in that. When I asked you to look for blue, you didn't notice really any red, did you?
No.
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 Because you were focused on trying to find the blue. And then when you focused your mind again to find the red, you started seeing less blue and more red.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, because you began to choose what you wanted to focus on versus just
Uh-huh.
taking in things holistically. So
Mhm.
we get to do that on a regular basis, but we don't do that on a regular basis.
Mm.
Mhm.
You know, what we tell ourselves is, I don't have any control over what goes through my head.
Mhm.
Now, do we have control over the 15,000 thoughts that we're going to have on average a day? No, but we can
Mhm.
choose which thoughts we want to focus our energy on. You know,
Correct.
we have so many random thoughts. There's no way to focus on everything.
Right.
So now, all right, sis, you set up over there.
I think so.
All right,
Yes,
cool,
ma'am.
cool. All right. So that is one of the things that we need to first pay attention to, is what we are allowing ourselves to focus on.
Mhm.
See, because if we don't allow ourselves to focus on those negative thoughts that cross our brains,
Right.
we
Mhm.
don't allow ourselves to indulge in those emotions that those negative thoughts will bring, then we live an automatic, healthy, happier, healthier life. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
um, I'll ask. Well, Sean is on mute, so I'm gonna ask sis. What are your thoughts on that, Lisa? I apologize, Lisa. Introduce yourself to the group. Just everybody doesn't know you, so it would be great if you just say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Myers.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. So we're talking about thoughts,
Yeah, about focus.
focusing.
Focus. Yeah, the
Yeah.
things we choose to
Okay.
focus on.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, we got Sean again. All right, so we gonna let sis go
I'm
first, and then
in. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay. When it comes to thoughts and focusing, I mean, we have lots of thoughts. I agree with you. You can't control the thoughts that are going, but you can control what you focus on. It's
Mhm.
I think of it like fish in the water. You
Mhm.
know, they're all floating around, and it's up to you to grab what you want.
Mhm.
And like we just did that exercise with the red. We was just focusing on red, and then you was focusing on the blue. And we do that all the time. We go into an event or an environment, and we focus on what we want. Do we want to focus on the negative, or do we want to focus on the positive? Like the event I was at this week, we were talking about grabbing the nuggets that you want.
Mhm.
That's going to that's going to bring your highest good.
Mhm.
absolutely. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. I like that. All right, brother Sean, come on and chime in, brother. What's your feelings on focus? On controlling your focus first, because there's steps to all of this. Obviously, we're going to go through steps, but right now we want to get some things out in the open. So, what's your feelings on controlling focus? Did we lose my brother? I think we may have.
We might have. I knew he went to another room.
Okay. All right. So he might be on mute right now. So we'll come back to that. But yeah. So exactly. It's about what you choose that you want to focus on versus trying to focus on everything. Is when you focus on everything or think you're focusing on everything, you end up focusing on nothing because everything
Right.
becomes out of focus, and it makes you feel like you are kind of out of control when your head is running through all these rambling thoughts and you are not choosing anything that's going to empower you or move you towards anything because you have so much, and that's when you begin to feel overwhelmed. That's when
Mhm.
you begin to feel like you don't know what to do because everything is happening and you aren't trying to pick like, okay, this is what I need to do first, or
Right.
this is what I really need to focus on now. We let it all just compile on us, and it becomes like a weight that we just cannot even begin to bear. 15,000 thoughts. I want you to think about that. We have on average at least 15,000 thoughts a day in
Mm.
24 hours. 15,000. How can you, if you don't try to focus on something, make it through your day without
Mhm.
driving yourself crazy?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you are going to go mad with 15,000 thoughts running through your head.
Mhm.
On average, that means it's over 700 thoughts an hour.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You don't think of it like that.
Right.
I mean, that alone, just thinking in those terms, will make you go crazy.
Yes.
Um, yeah. So it's automatic. And again, I mean, like Lisa Ma was saying, we have to choose what we're going to grab hold of. You know, and what we're going to allow to focus on.
Mhm. I believe that's what can discourage somebody.
Mhm.
Because if you have those thoughts, you might, like you said, get tired and say, go forget everything, and put off or procrastinate because you can't have one thing to focus on.
Mhm.
You know?
You're absolutely right. See, now the thing is, what we do though. Here's the problem. It's not that we're segmented. I'll say that.
Mhm.
We're broken down in about 4 different quadrants of how people deal with that. You have the people that unfortunately love to grab hold of the negative stuff
Mhm.
because it's the easiest thing for them to see because that's the
Mhm.
environments and stuff that they're used to.
Mhm.
And they have carried so many past hurts with them already. Anytime any little thing pops up, they grab hold of the negative, and they're easy to run down and compile a bunch of negative thoughts together. And next thing you know, they're in a bad mood and they have an attitude.
Mhm.
And then you have the happy-go-lucky people. You have some people that no matter what find a silver lining in the cloud. We all know somebody like that, that no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening, they're like, oh, well, it'll be okay.
Mhm.
All right. Which is a great perspective to have. However, you have to take the opportunity to look at what may have caused the situations. It's not acting like things aren't ever going to happen that are negative in your life. Is choosing not to focus on the negativity, accepting what happened, and then looking at how you can correct the situation so that negativity may not come back in the same form again. Because we are never going to get away from negativity. We're never going to get away from problems. The only thing is
Right.
that we can create environments that lessen those type of things by the things we're choosing to focus on. So,
Right.
um, the next step with focus, the other people is what I call the scatterbrains.
Mhm.
And we know plenty of them. We were talking about them earlier. You know, you,
Mhm.
you meet them. They oh man, I got this great idea. I'm getting ready to wash cars. Because washing cars is easy. I can make
Uh-huh.
$1,500 a week. All I gotta do is do 50 cars. Okay, great, do it. You
Mhm.
see them the next week. Oh man, I'm selling
Mhm.
jackets. You selling
Yeah.
jackets? I didn't know you knew how to make clothes. No, I don't. But my boy got these jackets, right? And I can.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's
They
good.
are choosing not to empower themselves enough to say, what do I really want to do?
Right.
What do I really want to focus on? And they jump from one thing to another to another to another. They start something, never finish, start something, never finish, start something, never finish. It's because they don't want to feel the frustration of having to go through something and it may not work out the way they want to.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
I believe that's
yeah.
where the scatterbrain comes from.
I think he watched 50 cars and decided maybe it's time to do something else.
You think he
Mhm.
watched 50 and said it's time to do something else, Sean?
That's it.
Yeah, his back was killing him.
Oh man. Okay, so since you spoke up first, Sean, I'll let you chime in on scatterbrains because I know we all know some of them.
Well, scatterbrains people are, I mean, they're part of the whole rainbow of people who we all know, and I don't know. I just accept them for who they are and know that. I mean, once you know who they are, then you know you're going to be hearing a lot of different things from a lot of different angles, and it's not going to be in a real focused place. So I always try to remember what we talked about last, and just be like, "So how's that going?" You know.
But you know what I noticed? All of them, we've all played that. We've all had that face on
Yes.
at some time until we realize that that doesn't work for us. Maybe I need to focus more, or maybe I'm focusing on too many negatives. So it's like taking inventory and realizing that we have the capability to do it all. And when we begin to distinguish the different types, think about, wait, I've done that myself, and think about how you moved from there, or there may be situations where you need to go in there picking out all the negative, and then just figuring out where it may be acceptable to use that.
Mm-hmm.
That, that
Amen.
that's a great point because they all have an effective they all can have an effective purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that, Lisa. You know, the thing is with scatterbrains, and what I'm talking about is in their ability to be productive. The scatterbrains, because there are people you have conversations with, and they will stay on a topic for 2 minutes, and then they're on to something else, then they're on to something else, and then they come back to the first thing. They're like, "Oh man, I had meant to say, I forgot," and then they go on to three other things, and they say, "Well, what was I talking about?" See, because
Mhm.
they have no focus
No
at that
focus.
point. So,
Mhm.
like you said, it is about selectively choosing when these things are empowering. Is it good to be scattered brained if you're a marketing or marketing or advertising person?
Mhm.
Absolutely, because you got to be creative, you got to
Yeah.
be open, you got to be willing to say 50,000 different things to try to get a campaign that works
Mhm.
for that segmented audience for that particular product. However,
Mhm.
with that being your particular thought process all day, it's kind of difficult to have a productive lifestyle. So again, even the negative thoughts, like you said,
So
people
so
that
so Gerald,
go ahead.
how do you when you're coaching scatterbrain people, what is the how do you get them to just settle down? I mean, what's the winning solution to getting them to be who they are,
And
be
focus.
aware of their scatterbrainness, and make it work for them?
The first thing is to get them to understand where they are. That's the first step. Because a lot of people
Awareness.
that are doing that don't even understand that they're doing it
Mm-hmm.
until you
Right.
point it out to them. A lot of people are like, and then when they do recognize, they were like, well, that's just me. No, that doesn't have to be you. Okay, so let's look at. I asked them this question. This is the first question I asked them. If we asked you to rate of importance, the most important aspect of your life, whether it's your family, your kid, whether it's your family, your work life, or your relationships, or your relationship with God, which one would you go 1 through 4? One being the most important, 4 being the least important. See, and now you're getting them to begin to play like that game we just did, red or blue. We aren't giving them
Mhm.
50,000 options anymore. We're going to start to
Mm-hmm.
narrow their focus so they can begin to focus. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first step. You begin to eliminate all the options and give them limited options. And people will
Mhm.
always choose if you give them options because
Right.
they feel like it's their choice. It's not your choice.
Mhm.
So that's the first step, Sean. That's the first step I would say that we take when you deal with people that are scatterbrained, because they are very creative and they are very useful actually when you get them to focus. It's just getting them to be able to hone in on exactly where it is that they were actually trying to go in the first place. So, um, now with the negative people, of course, like Lisa said, there are people that we call, you have proofreaders, you have and their job is to make sure that everything is in order. And that's not necessarily being negative on what you're doing, but they have to check what is going on. We have auditors that are there to make sure that everything is in line the way it needs to be in line, so we do not get sued. So there are times when it's good to look at what is not necessarily would be perceived as positive, but it's not negative for somebody to say, hey, you might want to readjust the way you're doing X. That's not a negative thing at all. The problem is when we think negative thoughts on a consistent basis, is when we let that become the norm, and we don't realize that we're actually
Lisa, did you lose them too?
I think we lost both of them
Yeah, Sean.
because Sean went and then now Gerald's gone.
Yeah,
Oh, they, oh,
Okay.
Sean,
Okay,
Sean's
I'm
back.
back.
right. Yeah, and going on to what he's saying until he gets back, and then even in our own lives, if we're we need to sometimes use the evaluating key to evaluate and discriminate when we need to discriminate facts and different things and move from there. But doesn't mean that we need to stay there.
Right.
I was in a yeah. I remember being in a situation, getting to know a young lady. We are doing business together, and I want to learn so that I can do what I got to do. Whereas she goes into situations and she's trying to find all the drama, and I'm saying to her, "Is that helping you to do what you're
Right.
supposed to do? Is
Mhm.
that going to bring you the wealth that you desire, or is it just going to keep you in this
Keep the
drama?"
drama going.
So in coaching with that, it's just like Jesus, like in the Bible, my staff and my rod shall comfort you. Ain't beating you with it, but bring it into
Right.
guidance,
Right.
Right.
moving
Right.
with that staff. Allowing a person to be who they are, but also allowing them to grow and to fine tune
Mhm.
themselves.
Right. That makes sense.
That does.
Yeah. And then when we were talking before about the person that scatterbrain, it makes me think of, and I usually use scriptural context, but you remember when Jesus said to Peter, "Who do they say I am?"
Mhm.
And it, and then he said, "Who do you say I am?" It was like I did a sermon one time on how to get rid of the junk. Because using that model, sometimes when we're dealing with people, we're like, "Go ahead, get it out, get all those thoughts out of your mouth, and then let's narrow down." Because sometimes, especially as women, we got to go all over the place, get it all out, and then
Right.
we can
Right.
get to our point sometimes.
Mhm. Mhm. I think also too, as part not really scatterbrain, but just in reference to myself, you know, and I realized that some of the not I want to say destructive things, but things that I was taking in that probably weren't the most healthiest. Was because I didn't know what exactly I was moving towards. So when you don't know where you're going, sometimes you will go in a lot of different directions, and it's almost a way to find yourself. It was almost like I'm in search of myself and in search of where I fit in. And a lot of times that may be perceived as being scattered because like he was saying, one day you're washing cars, and the next day, you selling, next week you're selling jackets and things like that. But in my instance, it was almost uh, uh, in search of what I'm here for, what my purpose is, and then once I found what that was, then I had a clear path and focus on what exactly I need to be doing. So no longer is it scattered, jumping from one thing to the next. Now it's focus, it's passion. It's like, okay, this is what I've been here to do. This is what my purpose is. So it was almost like, a growing stage. Yep. Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought I heard someone else. Come
Yeah,
on.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So it was almost like, growing stage, and just finding out, what I'm really here for. So now that I know that, now I have purpose, and I don't need to be scattered, in my thoughts. And it also helps you to focus, like you were saying with the woman you were working with. She's looking for the drama and the negative in it, but when you really know what your purpose is and what you're trying to do, you don't have time. That's a distraction. You don't have time to be focused on drama, because like you were saying, that's just counterproductive.
Mhm.
you know so mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Because I also think about when we have children,
Mhm.
trying to figure out what they like. So yeah, they scatter, but and one of the things as adults, we don't always, somehow something gets missed, I guess, as a child, and so now we're adults trying to figure out our purpose. But
Mhm.
if we allow our children to figure out, and be scattered until they, okay, does that fit right? Oh, I
Mhm.
don't like that shirt. That shirt doesn't work right.
Right. Right.
And and just allowing the process. So,
Mhm.
and I'm being aware of that when you see adults flip flopping, you're like, okay, I see where they're emotion, maybe they are emotional.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm I'm getting the next bullet point. So, okay, that's where we're moving into. So, and so with that in mind, then we're talking about moving into balance. You can actually see, the Bible says, "I'll know you by your fruit," and you begin to
Mhm.
see people that are living balanced.
Right. Right.
What examples have you seen balance?
Mhm.
What have you seen? When do you recognize balance in someone or even within yourself?
Mhm. I think, yeah, I think we sometimes, when you say balance, I think we may, relate that to a form of success. Someone who may be successful, you see that they have balance.
Hmm.
At least at face value. Of course, sometimes successful people are all over the place, but in myself, I feel like I have balance when I'm focused on one thing. For me, I'm not a very good multitasker. I have to be, I have to have a focus. I have to have a vision, and if I'm pulled off task too much, that just, of course, takes me off focus, and I lose that, what you're saying, that balance. Yeah. Oh, we get you back.
Yeah, we're
Yes,
back.
I am back.
Welcome
Okay.
back.
Hmm.
Thank you. I will not go gently into the night. Rage, rage. Okay,
Mhm.
so great. I see you guys are already on the next point, which is talking about more of a bit of a balanced focus, finding the
Mhm.
usefulness in all of the types, which is what Lisa was kind of alluding to, I believe. Talking about how each one of those characteristics we all have. I mean, we all have the negative side, obviously, because that's the fight that we struggle with the most,
Mhm.
avoiding the pitfalls of having that focus too long. We all have the positive side because that's the side that we try to enrich the most, where,
Mhm.
where we want to be able to look at the positive perspectives and find those silver linings. And we all do have that scattered brain thing because, again, we all have at least 15,000 thoughts a day. So
Mhm.
anybody could be scatterbrained. So
Mhm.
the challenge is finding the balance in the utilization and the usefulness in all of those types to be able to live the life that you want to live.
Mhm.
Um, I will say for somebody like me, a lot of times people look at me and they say, "Well, you say you have 7 businesses. How are you not scatterbrained?" So,
Mhm.
um, the thing that I tell them is when you really put it in perspective, all of my businesses really do one, I mean, two things. They create, they are creative ventures. I get to address my creative side in all of them, from fragrance to construction, even to this. I have to be creative in the way that I'm talking to people so that they can get the message, because everybody receives and processes information differently. So when you look at them, they all are creative styles of business, where I'm helping people. And so they're serving people too. So it may be 7 different industries, but they all pretty much are along the same lines of creating things for people and helping them with a situation that makes them feel good and me feel good at helping them. So of course, the negative things, I have to be able to look at negativity in myself, first of all, because if I'm going to be a leader or an example of anything, I have to be able to see the things that I do that may hinder my progress and also affect the way people view me as a leader. And we're all leaders that are on this call, so it's not an individual type of thing here. It's just that I'm talking about myself personally, so that we can go through the full gambit with me, and then I'll allow everybody to go through the same thing with them, and we can look at ourselves as we are, because that's an important thing to be able to gain focus for ourselves. The positive thing, I'm a pretty positive guy. Anybody that knows me, I'm usually a pretty happy guy. It takes a lot to rattle the cage to get the lion to want to roar. So, however, I am extremely passionate about the things I do. So, and that way, that's the way I'm able to achieve the balance in my focus. Okay, where are these things best served? When I am talking to you about your businesses, of course I need to be that scatterbrained person. I need to be that person that can find holes and things that you may not have thought of, and I have to have creative ways to help you get what you need out of yourself. I can't put anything in anybody, but I can help you uncover things that are already there. So that is the way I look at it, and that is the way I am able to live my life with a more balanced focus. All right, I will turn it over to let me go to Sis Lisa Maya. Let's let Lisa do her thing. What do you feel on that, Miss Lisa?
With the balancing, it's a
Yes.
balancing act. It in life is a balancing act because life is going to come at you from different directions, and it's assessing. Okay, what's going to be the best way to handle it? And you got all these thoughts going, and being focused. And just like the example I was sharing earlier before you got there, working with this other young lady, it can be just everybody's personality can be distracting to you, but what's going to be the highest good? And we're working together, so it wasn't a coaching situation, but she's looking all over the place, like you said, an auditor or someone that is very key to look at details, but these details were not helpful, and they're not going to make her any money. So it's just even in within my own life, is this going to work? And I'm a happy-go-lucky person just like you. So would you
Yes.
really rattle my brain? That first of all, that meant that you've been rattling a long time, and now I am.
Oh man, you are right. You are right though. So I mean, achieving that balance is important, and I want everybody to get a chance to see how they achieve or how they can achieve that balance for themselves within themselves. So I will go to brother Larry, since he's sitting over there. I know it's almost WD time. We're gonna wrap up. Don't worry.
It's fine.
You're not gonna miss the zombies, bro. I promise. I
I'm
promise.
not
I'm not gonna let
messing with you, man. I'm messing with
you. We're not gonna let you miss the zombies. They're gonna
you.
be
No,
there.
it's
I promise.
okay. Okay, well now, well, balance is important because that's why this whole thing, to be honest with you all, is like perfect for me because now I get to actually. I might not have a lot of input. I'm young, but life taught me some lessons. But it's what I prayed for, and God has given it to me through this and you all. as far as because now I get to see the balance. Like I cried out not too long ago that it's so much that I feel like I want to do. So scatterbrain, so much that I want to do, but I don't even know where to start. Where I get discouraged, and it's not enough time for me if you ask me. It's not enough time for me if you ask me. So basically, now starting with the amp. I mean, let's just start there. The clarity with the amp. It's it helps me focus in and control and focus on what it is that I want to do. I have time for my prayer. I have time to pray and meditate, which sets the tone for my day. I appreciate things, and that puts me in a positive and positive mood throughout my day. It's like you all said, it's rarely hard to get me off like my scale. Like I got a good heart, and
You, you
I have a
definitely
good
do.
heart, and I love everybody, and to the point where sometimes I think it's a bad thing because I don't find the bad in you. I try to motivate you on the good in you so that you can, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that transforms the way you think. Because a lot of people beat us up. Let's just be honest, as blacks, they beat us down about it's negative. It's already negative stereotype about it. So I try to, and I've been incarcerated, so I try to work with them boys as far as or anybody to let them know the positive in them. So I mean, but I'm finding that balance now through just listening to what you are like. It's some like listening to being a part of this. I'm actually finding the way that where my steps are being ordered. I mean, that goes back to the meditation we talked about last week. How the Bible says your steps should be ordered. So this right here just give me that opportunity to practice. So when I leave from this, I take this information and I put it into practice in my life. Then I can come back next week and say, well, I did this, and this was the effects of it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's a learning process for me as far as you all already there. It's from what I can see, but I'm learning.
Yeah, brother, everything in life is a process. So,
Uh-huh.
we all are going through a process. We are all a work in progress. Believe that. No matter what, we are working on trying to get better. And if you're not, you have a serious problem. So, so it's not that we're there. We may have had a few more experiences than you. So
Hmm.
what I would like to give you is this little piece of empowering information for you, my brother. It's
Okay.
not about your age. It's about your experiences. You
Hmm.
have much to add to any conversation because all we all are talking about is from our own personal experiences, our own personal pers- perspectives, our own personal trials and tribulations that we have gone through and
Hmm.
gotten through that got us to where we are today. So
Hmm.
don't think you don't have much to add. We are all learning. We are all still students.
Hmm.
So I just want you to
Amen.
remember that, brother. Just,
Thank you.
you have
Thank
a
you.
lot to add. Now I gotta bring Miss Nikki. You always trying to hide in the corner.
That's why I turned to.
She always trying to get off the camera. I'm the one that doesn't like cameras. You always trying to hide.
Camera shy. I'm camera shy too.
You camera shy too.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's get your thoughts on balance so we can get ready to wrap this thing up. I know we got started late.
Oh.
But
Mhm.
I want to see what your thoughts are on having a focused balance. How do you try to achieve a balanced focus, a focused balance? Lord help, look at me talking backwards. But anyways, a balanced
Well,
focus.
I'll make it short and sweet, but to have a focused balance for me is that I have to have that thing that I'm focused on. And as I was saying a little earlier, at some point I was in this scatter mode because I didn't know. It was almost like I was trying to find myself and find out what my purpose was. But now that I know that, I can be focused and balanced on that one thing. So now it's not like I'm in search of. I'm no longer in this search mode. I have I can see the vision in front of me now. It's I'm at the place where, as Larry was saying, my steps are being ordered to get to what that final end product is, so I can have balance and focus. And so now the challenge is not to let things come in. It's almost like I might have used this analogy before, but follow the yellow brick road. So I'm not going to veer to the left, to the right, because I have a clear vision of where I'm supposed to go. So I can be focused, and then with me being focused, that gives me balance because I have something to work towards. That's basically it. Now it's not like I'm trying to find myself or find what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what that is now, so I know what I should be focused on. And and from where I am now to where I'm supposed to be, now it's just a continual walking and having things brought into my path to help me achieve where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Now you said something on there that I just want to give you a little piece,
Okay.
a little encouragement there too. You said
Mhm.
something about having a vision. The only way to get the vision is to be able to focus, because
Mhm.
vision means that you see clearly. And
Mhm.
if anything, if something's out of focus, you cannot see clearly. So
Absolutely.
the fact that you are clear on the fact that you want the vision and that you are already starting to move towards your vision is
Mhm.
a step towards having much better focus. Now you have
Mhm.
to focus on
Absolutely.
the things that empower you and continue to push
Mm.
you towards that goal, and
Exactly.
you
Mhm.
will begin to live the life that you always dreamed of. And
Exactly.
I just wanted to add that to you and give you that. Brother
Mhm.
That's good.
Sean.
Yeah, all I have to add is that what came to me during this conversation was that the key to clarity is stillness. I don't know if you ever played in like a river or a creek, but the best if you don't want to see what's going on, just continue to move. It'll be so
Mm.
much dirt and stuff kicked up, you will not have any clarity in that water.
Mhm.
So the best thing when it comes to, which is kind of counterintuitive,
You're off the call.
And you can see exactly where you're going. You know,
Oh,
did
there
everybody
he
hear him?
is. Yes, we
Yeah,
can hear
you
you
hear
and
him in
see
the
you
background.
now. Who is that masked
Hmm.
man?
So yeah, then you can see exactly where you're going, and at that point, vision is pretty self evident at that point. You can see, oh, there's the other end of the river over there,
Mhm.
but the action that you had to take was actually non-action, which goes back to the AMP process. The AMP process will fix a lot of get the silk to drop. Every time you go into the AMP process, the silk drops. You see clearly, and you're not as confused. And your movement, all the movement that you make, remember, the more movement, the more stuff kicks up. So
Mhm.
always put your
Mhm.
time of stillness in the process. That's it.
All
All
right.
right.
All right. I love it, brother.
That's it for me.
All right, that's it for you.
I'm
Now
Popeye fan.
look at him. He getting off now again. He's going back high. That's the behind the scenes Sean right there. See?
That's my live face.
Uh-oh.
All right. Awesome. Now, Lisa added her point, but since we have her on the call, I would like to give her last say about the balanced focus. And just your feelings on the whole conversation about focus in general. Just give us Lisa's final word of the evening, and we can let everybody get to the WD before everybody's ready to hurt me. So.
All right. All right. Well, I'll make it quick. I look at balance when you think of us as individuals. Think of a pendulum that swings from side to side.
Hmm.
And when it's swinging from side to side, life is happening. And then eventually the pendulum will slow down.
Mhm.
And it's similar to all the murk in the water settling. And once that settles, then you're in balance. But
Mhm.
realize that life is always going to throw something at you, and you're going to go back and forth again. But it's up to you to focus in and find that balance and find the tools like AMP, the tools like I like music. So I know that before I can even get to a place of silence, I might have to put on some music and just dance. Whatever it's going to take to bring it back into balance, and then from there moving and also pausing sometimes, because sometimes when you're out of that balanced place, you're going to look like you're all over the place anyway. It's not going to come out. And always be conscious of the fruit. So whatever action that you're responsible for your energy when you show up. So it's always being conscious of that before you go, before you open up, before you're thinking, so you can focus in on that. And that's all I have to say.
Well, that was beautiful. That is a great way for us to end this after we went through quite the ordeal to get going tonight. I mean, this was crazier than last week. Last week didn't take this long to get going.
No, it didn't.
However, we did get it going. We had a communion together. We got to talk and got to just get out some ideas. This is what this whole movement is about. This is how we get closer to living the life that we want to live, because we do these types of things together, and it's an exchange of energy, an exchange of ideas, and we all move forward together. So first, let me thank all of you for fighting through all this craziness that it took us to get on this call. And secondly, I appreciate you all really putting in the energy with the AMP thing and all of that. Before I close, and I realize we're getting real close up, we're 9 o'clock, I'm going to wrap up real fast. I'm going to talk real quick, so you're going to think I'm from New York for about 10 seconds. All right. March 7th, March 14th, again, the Live Your Dreams workshop. We are actually having it. Any of you all, please go to the website, thenewwealthorder.com. Get registered. It is a free website. The New Wealth Order. I'm not saying the www dot because I refuse to. I'm protesting. So we're going to do that. And then also, so please, everybody go do that. Get registered. Please also check out, if you want, about the workshop for the sales training. That's on the 21st. That's the following week. Go to the Facebook page, like us on Facebook, and we will see each other next week, where we're going to have an on-time hour-and-a-half discussion, not a 45-minute of trying to get on the call type of discussion. So everybody, I hope you all have a fantabulous week. Be blessed. Remember, we choose what type of life we have by the choices that we make. So choose to be exceptional and watch your WD.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Good night.
Peace.